Athens City Council considers a smaller income tax hike after its first attempt failed.
The fight to withhold SNAP funding continues. When can recipients expect to get paid?
And in sports, the regional semifinals are here. Catch a preview of this week's action with Gridiron Glory. Newswatch starts right now. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Parker Davis.
And I'm Morgan Anderson. Welcome to Newswatch. Before we get to our top stories for the night, let's take it on over to our forecaster, Tyler Zyro, for a first look at your weather. Tyler?
Temperatures right now in the Athens area, upper mid 50s right now. We're cooling down. We're starting to cool down to our lows tonight, which overnight we're going to see those temperatures dip down to about freezing overnight. Temperatures around 32, mostly clear skies. So as we wake up tomorrow, don't be surprised if we see a little bit of frost on the ground, but that should thaw out pretty quickly as we see our temperatures get back up. But as we're looking at our things, as we're looking right now, we see our satellite and radar right now. We're clear in Athens right now. We are clear skies and we are no rain since Tuesday. And that's going to continue for a little bit into tomorrow. But those clear skies made those temperatures feel a little bit warmer today. Those sunshine made it feel a little bit nicer than it should have, probably around 60 rather than the mid 50s. But as we look into tomorrow, we see our temperatures continue to stay nice as we see things start to warm up to about 60 tomorrow with some partly sunny skies, and our lows definitely more mild than what we're seeing tonight as we see things about in the mid 40s rather down to those freezing. But as we look into Saturday, we start to see a warm front push through, and that's going to bring a little bit of moisture our way, and additionally that's going to bring some warmer temperatures. But stick around to see how warm we're going to get on Saturday.
Thank you, Tyler. Athens City Council considers putting another income tax increase on the ballot after voters rejected the last one. This time, the proposed tax increase would be 0.2%. The levy that failed in May called for a 0.3 increase. If approved by voters, a taxpayer in Athens with a taxable income of $50,000 would pay an extra $100 a year. The city's general fund income tax was last increased 9 years ago, and the city is pursuing another increase to keep the revenue in pace with expenses.
The state spent nearly $1.1 billion on voucher programs in schools last year. New data from the state shows Ohio spent almost $2 billion on its scholarship programs, most of it to EdChoice and its programs. The total voucher participation increased by more than 15,000 students, most of whom were not registered as low income by the state. Ohio offers 5 state voucher programs, which provide scholarships to K-12 students to attend private and charter schools. The programs, particularly EdChoice and its programs, are decisive. Some say they make learning more accessible to families, and others argue they take away money and resources from public schools. A Republican House representative introduces a bill that would require absentee voters in Ohio to present a copy of their photo identification when returning their voted ballots. This comes in just a week after the Ohio Senate approved a bill to eliminate the 4-day grace period for accepting mail-in ballots. Representative Ron Ferguson says House Bill 577 would make mail-in absentee voting more secure. The bill is assigned to a committee, but is not yet scheduled for a hearing.
The former owner of a Hocking Hills rental cabin will spend the next 6 to 9 years behind bars after he hid a camera in the cabin bathroom, capturing video of dozens of guests. Jason Yard pleaded no contest to one felony count of illegal use of a minor in nudity-oriented material. The hidden camera was discovered last February by a family staying at Yard's Sly Fox Lodge. Detectives found files containing videos of more than 50 guests, including 13 children. Yard admits to hiding the camera, but says it started out as security for the cabin. But the cameras were pointed at the toilet and the shower. Yard will also have to register as a Tier 2 sex offender for 25 years. Ohio is now closer to establishing an emergency alert system for missing children with autism. By an unanimous vote, lawmakers in the Ohio House advanced House Bill 359, creating a new category of notifications, Joshua alerts. Under House Bill 359, if an autistic child or a child with a similar disability goes missing, law enforcement agencies have to notify the statewide emergency system. The activation criteria for Joshua alerts includes confirming if the missing child is nonverbal or limited in their communication abilities. House Bill 359 now heads to the Ohio Senate for consideration.
This week in Washington, the House Oversight Committee released 20,000 new pages of documents received from the estate of Jeffrey Epstein. Documents include email exchanges where Epstein mentions high-profile figures by name, including President Donald Trump. Julia Benbrook is at the White House with more.
About 20,000 pages of documents from the estate of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein were released by the House Oversight Committee this week. Ahead of that fuller release, Democrats on the committee made public several emails from Epstein that mentioned Donald Trump by name in various circumstances. The emails that began almost 15 years ago were obtained by the GOP-led panel after it subpoenaed Epstein's estate earlier this year. The first group of records from the estate were released by the committee in September. Trump has referred to the saga as the Jeffrey Epstein hoax and has consistently denied any wrongdoing.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
In a 2019 email exchange to author Michael Wolff, Epstein appeared to reference that incident, writing, quote, "Trump said he asked me to resign, never remember ever. Of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop." The focus on documents related to Epstein is not going away anytime soon. In a separate effort, a bipartisan pair of lawmakers is calling on the Justice Department to release all case files related to this. They now have the signatures needed to force a vote in the House. That is expected to take place next week. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Mortgage rates are on the rise for the second week in a row after reaching the lowest level of the year. According to Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed mortgage averaged 6.24% for the week ending today, up slightly from the previous week. Mortgage rates were steadily falling in the weeks leading up to the Fed's second rate cut of the year late last month. Now, they've mostly held steady since then as investors weighed the Federal Reserve's next move.
The Senate voted to pass a compromise funding package to end the government shutdown. 60 yeas and 40 nays for the final count. Approximately 42 low-income Americans rely on the federally funded SNAP, and they've been caught in a weeks-long back and forth between the courts and the Trump administration. Sherelle Hubbard has more on where SNAP recipients stand.
Millions of Americans remain in limbo, uncertain if or when their SNAP payments or food stamps will arrive.
I think in some states people did get 100% of what they were entitled to. Some states people have gotten none. Some states people have gotten partial payments.
On average, households receive about $350 a month in benefits. Nearly 42 million people rely on SNAP to feed themselves and their families.
I'm worried that I might go to the grocery store and try to use my EBT card, and in the time that I've gone to the grocery store, that something has been reversed.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture said it would not use its contingency fund to partially cover food stamp benefits, but two federal judges ordered the USDA to use emergency funds to partially cover November benefits. Days after the Trump administration said it would only fund half of November SNAP benefits and then 65%. A federal judge stepped in again to order full payments be made, but the Trump administration filed an appeal. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson temporarily halted that order Friday evening to allow the appeal to play out. Some states that hastily dispersed full payments were ordered to undo those distributions by the USDA on Saturday.
They're saying, well, we want that money back. They're not getting it back.
A group of Democratic-led states and a coalition of cities, nonprofits, unions, and small businesses have launched fast-moving legal challenges seeking to restore full benefits. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
With the federal government shutdown over, Smithsonian museums will begin reopening. 3 will tomorrow. the National Museum of American History and the National Air and Space Museum, both in Washington, D.C., and the Stephen F. Varghese Center in Virginia. The remaining museums will reopen on a rolling basis by Monday. The institution, including 19 museums and the National Zoo, closed October 12th, shortly after the start of the shutdown.
The longest shutdown in U.S. history is over after President Donald Trump signed a funding bill to reopen the government last night. It follows a 43-day standoff in Congress over the country's spending priorities. But even as the government reopens, things won't be quickly returning to normal. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
The U.S. government is finally back open, but the fallout continues.
It costs about $15 billion a week, and it accumulates to maybe 1.5% of GDP.
While there's relief for travelers,
I am happy that it'll get back to some kind of normalcy.
Flight delays and cancellations are expected to linger as air traffic control facilities staff back up. Thursday, nearly 1,000 flights were canceled due to those staffing issues, FAA mandated cuts to keep the airspace safe, and unrelated reasons. It remains unclear when regular operations will resume.
It's going to take a long time. The problem is that the cascading effect that has occurred during the government shutdown is going to just kind of build on top of itself.
Across federal agencies, the hundreds of thousands of furloughed workers will have to address a more than 6-week backlog of work, from food safety inspections to NASA operations to tax refunds. Federal workers say it takes time to get things back up and running. And the battle on Capitol Hill still isn't over. There are no guarantees Congress will extend the health care subsidies set to expire at the end of the year, something demanded by Democrats as Affordable Care Act enrollees brace for premium increases.
It went from $400 that we're paying right now to $1,975 for the same policy.
The legislation also only funds most of the government through January, which means in less than 3 months, the government could close its doors again. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Coming up as we enter cold and flu season, how boosting your immune system can prepare your body to fight off illness.
Temperatures in the Athens area pretty normal right now, but this weekend we see a huge jump in temperatures. Stick around to see how long that stays about.
Can you feel the moment?
The American Revolution changed the world.
With a story unfolds.
Everybody had the sense of possibility worth fighting for.
What took place here still leaves us in awe.
We can work towards equality together.
Wow, this is the missing piece. Incredible.
To confront these figures from ancient history is a great privilege.
Our history tells us who we are, where we came from.
And it's all connected.
Like links in a chain.
Like links in a chain, yeah.
All I can do is say thank you.
Wow, this is phenomenal.
I'm really grateful for this.
Patriots, come forward. Your country demands your services.
These are the times that tried men's souls.
Our cause is the cause of all mankind.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.
Fasten your seatbelt.
We are in respiratory virus season until mid-May, and there are natural ways to protect yourself from viruses. Mandy Gaither explains how to boost your immune system in today's Health Minute.
It's that time of year again. Respiratory virus season typically peaks between December and February, and as we get deeper into it, it's important that your body is prepared.
I am anticipating, as I think we all are, a rough respiratory season.
Dr. Sarah Nozel with the American Academy of Family Physicians says the first line of defense is vaccination. There are vaccines that protect against flu, RSV, and COVID-19, but there are also natural ways to give your immune system a boost, and that starts with getting your underlying medical conditions under control.
Do you have any medical problems that we should be preparing your asthma medications for the fall and winter? Should we be making sure your diabetes is well controlled?
Next, Nozel says make healthy choices. That includes consistent exercise, staying hydrated, and eating foods like fruits and vegetables.
We want our body to have all of the nutrients, not to be deficient in any nutrients.
Getting good quality sleep is also critical for immune system health, as is managing stress. And Nozel's final tip, make sure everyone in the family frequently washes their hands with soap and water.
When you touch your nose, your mouth, your eyes, or even your face, and your hands have not just been washed, you are likely transmitting small bits of virus to yourself throughout the virus season.
For Health Minute, I'm Mady Gaither.
If you've been outside the last 2 evenings, we had some beautiful skies with the northern lights. Did you guys get a chance to see those?
I actually didn't, but if you take a look at your screen, we do have some pictures from the Ohio University meteorology students. It's so absolutely beautiful, and I really wish that I got a chance.
Yeah, I got a chance to see them. They were definitely beautiful, and we were definitely very lucky. We had some very good weather for them, some clear skies, so we were definitely able to get one of the best views we probably will get in Athens for a long time of those northern lights. So
I mean, look at that, Tyler. That is vivid. So all because of the clear skies?
Yeah, that really helped us get a really good view of those northern lights. So, but as we look at our temperatures right now, we do see temperatures around the mid-50s right now as we continue into the rest of the day, and we see our lows continuing down into the 30s overnight with temperatures around freezing. And as we look at our radar right now, and we look at our satellite right now, we see things clear right now, and we've been seeing a lot of really nice weather for the beginning of this week as we moved out of those really cold temperatures we saw, and now we're moving into a little more warmer period. And as we look right now, it's likely due to this high pressure that's been sitting over us, giving us that nice temperatures, the clear skies, and the no rain. But as we look right now into tomorrow, we see temperatures continue to rise a little bit as we go a little above normal, and we see temperatures about 60 tomorrow with definitely more mild lows down into the mid-40s rather than the freezing temperatures that we will see tonight. And we see some partly sunny skies tomorrow, so we can continue to see those clear skies. And as we look into Saturday, that's where we start to see a little bit of change. We see a warm front start to pass through the Athens area around midday, and that's going to do two things for us. First of all, that's going to give us warm, moist air, and what that's going to do is bring us some moisture. That's going to bring us some pretty consistent showers starting Saturday afternoon and fizzling out into the evening. Nothing severe, no thunderstorms, but expect some pretty consistent rain. Bring your umbrellas for Saturday. But the second thing that this is going to do for us is this is going to give us some really, really warm temperatures for November. As we look into Saturday, we see temperatures trying to brush 70 degrees. But as we look into Sunday, those temperatures don't stick around for long. We see things mild out by Sunday as we see temperatures back into the mid-50s, which is pretty seasonably normal for our November time in Athens. But as we look at the beginning of next week, we see temperatures on Monday continue to drop down into those low 50s, a little below average, with those partly sunny skies. And those temperatures overnight Monday looking like they're going to be around freezing. So we do see the potential for some showers Monday into Tuesday. So we're looking at a potential for our next snowfall Monday into Tuesday, but no real big accumulations, because by the time things start to warm up on Tuesday, if we do see any snow on the ground, it's likely going to melt quite quickly because things are still so warm. And Tuesday, we see those temperatures up to 50 again. And as we look into Wednesday and Thursday, we do see the potential for some more rain showers Wednesday into Thursday. But as we look into Thursday, we start to see those temperatures jump back up to around 60 again.
Thanks, Tyler. Scientists are close to making pig kidneys work in humans. Doctors from NYU looked at how the human body rejects a pig organ. Doctors say it was a breakthrough in understanding how the immune system handles these kinds of transplants, and they're now a major step closer to making kidney transplants from other species a real option in the near future. The new studies were published today in the journal called Nature. Right now, more than 90,000 people in the U.S. are waiting for a kidney transplant, and donor supply cannot keep up with the demand.
Verizon plans to cut nearly 15,000 jobs next week in its largest ever wave of layoffs. One source says Verizon also plans to transition about 200 stores into franchises. This would move employees off the company's payroll, with Verizon having about 100,000 workers. Sources say the layoffs come as the telecommunications company looks to cut costs amid increased competition for wireless and home internet customers.
It's week 13 and we still have 8 games left in action. Donovan, we're going to highlight a couple of them in this week's edition of 2-Minute Drill.
Yes, we will. And we'll highlight our special game of the week, Unioto and New Lex. So find out more on these games after the break.
Ukrainian forces have now launched their much-talked-about counter-offensive.
Expected to be the biggest military operation in Europe since World War II.
This war is a nightmare none of us can wake up from.
Premieres Tuesday, November 25th, 10, 9 Central, only on PBS.
Asking tough questions to those in power.
Russia right now has you outmanned, outgunned. Is it time to think about a settlement?
As a newcomer to Congress, what did you make of the high degree of dysfunction within the Republican conference?
I always felt that it was broken.
And covering events as they unfold.
Opposition fighters have reached the suburbs of the capital, Damascus.
For intelligent, insightful reporting.
Were you surprised that they were using Signal to talk about really sensitive stuff?
There have been screw-ups in Washington since time immemorial, but I can't think of one quite like this.
Join moderator Jeffrey Goldberg and the country's best journalists for incisive analysis of the most consequential stories.
There's been a lot of soul-searching on the Democrat side about what went wrong.
Once these tariffs go in, the question becomes how long they will stick to this policy and what will be the breaking point.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
It's week 13. Happy regional semis week to everyone out there. And Donovan, the 2025 season is slowly coming to a close, though.
Unfortunately, but Josh, let's not waste any more time. We got some games to hit on. Let's start that timer right now.
And here's to start off with a very familiar playoff matchup between Wheelersburg and Barnesville.
Yeah, it's funny, Josh, because these two teams have only ever met in the playoffs. Actually, this is their 4th straight year that they've met in Region 19. And honestly, the games have been good, but they've all gone Wheelersburg's way. The last 3 years, Wheelersburg has won all of them, each by double digits. So Barnesville is going to want to try and do their best to actually, get ahead early against this Pirates team. They've got a very good defense, so we'll see what they can do. Barnesville hosted last year. Berg gets to host this year. Could be a different story. You never know with this Pirates team.
Yeah, and on to another familiar playoff matchup, Donovan, between West Jefferson and Fort Fry. They've met a couple times as well.
They have, and just like I mentioned, another two teams that have only met in the playoffs as well. It's kind of funny, but they played in 2021, 2023, and now they're playing this week. And the Rough Riders have won both of those games in the past. They did it pretty handily too. But the best Fort Fry defense is this year since 1993. They had a really good defense this year. They're giving up an average of 8.5 points per game, and I think that's what's really going to give Fort Fry the edge this year. Honestly, it's been a while since they last played, so yeah, we'll see how they do.
Yeah, speaking of a guy who gives defenses nightmares, let's talk about Levi Waite's historic performance last week for the Tri-Valley Scotties.
Oh my gosh, this guy just went off. Absolutely historic, right? You mentioned first ever Tri-Valley running back to go over 2,000 rushing yards in the season, and he did that with 312 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns last week versus Hamilton Township. There's a reason he made our top 8 for Gridiron Glory Player of the Year.
Oh, no doubt about that. He's certainly a special player. And on to our game of the week is a team that has faced Levi Waite this year. It's New Lexington against Unioto.
Yeah, this is going to be very good. They're well-rounded teams. Both teams having a 1,000-yard rusher, Paul Stenson for New Lex and Cody Braden for Unioto. And they can pass, though. Unioto's quarterback Isaac Coy has been making waves this year. He's doing well, not throwing as much as last year, but he's getting it done. And Unioto finally made it past that first round, so this is kind of uncharted territory for them for the first time in a while. So we'll see how they do. As for New Lex, though, they've been to the regional finals. They want this one this week, and we'll see if they can get it done. All right, well, that's our time.
Yeah, Donovan, that's all we have for this week, but make sure you stay tuned to episode 13 of Gridiron Glory. You'll see both of us airing at 11:30 on WOUB and the WOUB YouTube channel. Send it back to the desk.
Thanks, guys. Still ahead, the Columbus Zoo has a new family member in a contest to name him. Find out how you can take part in the fun.
The Ohio Art Corridor is a destination experience. We would like this to be the largest outdoor art gallery in the world.
Portsmouth was able to field an incredible team for a brief moment in the sun that almost was sweet enough to get them a national championship.
We got land granted to us in Ohio. Great opportunity. Let's go. How would you know you got here? It was just sheer determination and patience and just hard, back-breaking work.
The bridge was acclaimed at the time of being an engineering marvel.
Progress is all about taking the lessons of the past and doing better. So I would hope that now that we know better, we will do better.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
It's so nice to have you here. It's worth it.
Wheels up in 5.
Very simple, but very elegant food.
I'm trying to save your father's life.
Excited?
I can't wait.
The Columbus Zoo needs your help naming its newest family member. The zoo will accept names until November 16th and from November 24th to December 1st. People will vote on the names. On December 2nd, the zoo will announce the name. The calf makes history as the second elephant born at the zoo this year. The first time 2 elephants were born at the zoo in 1 year in its history. The first elephant was named Rita Jean to honor Rita Jean Wolf, a major figure in the zoo's founding. The male calf spends most of his time with his mother, Phoebe, but has charmed visitors with a few appearances.
How cute.
That is just so adorable. I'm from Columbus, so I feel like over break I have to go meet this elephant. Yes, it's adorable.
For our weather right now, we are seeing our temperatures right around mid-50s right now, but as we look into tomorrow, we see some of the same mild temperatures around 60 degrees, but then Saturday, unseasonably warm for November, trying to hit 70 with those rain showers pretty much starting through the afternoon and continuing through the evening. And then we see our temperatures mild back out Sunday, and we see some relatively normal winter-like temperatures for November continuing into next week.
Well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you so much for watching. For Tyler Zaro, I'm Parker Davis.
And I'm Morgan Anderson. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And have a great night while you're at it.